War is brutal, chaotic, and often inhumane. But even in the middle of destruction, there are rules. Yes, rules in war. Soldiers are trained to fight, to survive, and to win. But they are also expected to follow laws, even when those laws don't always make sense in the heat of battle. So what exactly is not allowed in war? Why are certain weapons banned? Why can't soldiers do anything to win? Today, we're diving into the strange, shocking, and essential rules of war. Rules that every country on Earth has agreed to follow. War does not mean the absence of humanity. Even in conflict, there are limits. The idea that anything goes in war is simply not true. Under something called the Geneva Conventions, countries have agreed that cruelty without purpose is forbidden. These rules ban certain weapons, actions, and behaviors that cause unnecessary suffering. Today, all 196 countries in the world have accepted these conventions. But here's the reality. Even though these rules are universal, they are not always followed, and when they are broken, the consequences can be devastating. Humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years, but over time, people began to ask a question: can war be less brutal? That question led to the first agreement in 1864, which eventually evolved into modern international humanitarian law. These laws were designed to do one thing: reduce suffering, protect those who are not fighting, and maintain some level of humanity, even in war. This is where the foundation of the Geneva Conventions was born. 1. Civilians must never be targeted. This is the most important rule. Civilians, people who are not fighting, can never be intentionally attacked. Doing so is a war crime. Armies must always distinguish between military targets and innocent people. Even buildings like hospitals, schools, and food supplies must be protected, because without them, people cannot survive. 2. Prisoners of war must be treated humanely. Captured soldiers are no longer enemies in combat. They are human beings in custody. They must be given food and water, be protected from torture, be allowed to communicate with their families. No matter what they have done, their dignity must be preserved. 3. Medical workers are protected. Doctors and nurses risk their lives to save others. They are not soldiers. Organizations like the International Committee of the Red Cross and Red Crescent operate in dangerous war zones. They must never be attacked, and wounded people must be treated, no matter which side they belong to. 4. Certain weapons are banned. Not all weapons are allowed in war. Some are considered too cruel or too indiscriminate. Examples include chemical weapons, biological weapons, weapons that cannot distinguish between soldiers and civilians. As technology advances, this becomes even more complicated. Imagine a future where wars are fought by robots. Will machines be able to tell who is a civilian and who is not? That question remains unanswered and deeply concerning. So, what happens when countries break these rules? The consequences are serious. Violations of international humanitarian law can lead to international trials, sanctions, political isolation, even life imprisonment. Individuals, not just countries, can be held responsible. Courts like the International Criminal Court in The Hague exist to prosecute war crimes. This city is often called the capital of international justice. Iran-Iraq War. During the rule of Saddam Hussein, chemical weapons were used extensively. One of the most horrifying events was the Halabja chemical attack, where thousands of civilians were killed. Entire communities were destroyed by toxic gas. Afghanistan War. War crimes were reported by multiple sides. The Dasht-e-Leili massacre, where prisoners reportedly suffocated in containers. The Kandahar massacre, where civilians, including women and children, were killed in their homes. A hospital run by Médecins Sans Frontières was struck in Kunduz, killing patients and staff. These incidents show how easily rules can be broken in the chaos of war. Israel-Palestine conflict. Recent events have also raised serious concerns. The United Nations and human rights groups have reported possible violations such as starvation used as a method of warfare, attacks on hospitals, civilian casualties in residential areas, forced displacement of large populations. There have also been allegations involving the use of white phosphorus in populated areas. These claims are still investigated internationally, but they highlight a critical truth. War laws exist, but enforcing them is another challenge entirely. At its core, international humanitarian law is about one thing: choice. The choice to remain human, even in the darkest moments. The choice to protect life instead of destroying it completely. Because one day, every war ends, and when it does, the people left behind must find a way to live together again.
That's why these rules exist. Not to stop war completely, but to make sure humanity survives it. If you want more real, fact-based content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we don't just tell stories, we uncover the truth behind them.